Hi, it's Michelle Peavy. I am your Get Off Your Ask, ASK, expert and LinkedIn traffic cop. And so what does that mean? What do I do? Actually, what I do is I teach people how to effectively choose and identify words so that they can ask for what they want. And then what I do is I pull them over into LinkedIn as their go-to resource and tool in business. I usually work closely with individuals who have questions using LinkedIn around sales. I usually work with small or individual business owners, entrepreneurs, and then as well as job seekers. And so what I'm going to do for you today is actually I'm going to share with you some tips, tricks, and some secrets, and usually mainly cover the top 3 areas that you need to kind of really know about in your LinkedIn profile in order to kind of be effective when it comes to using it as a business professional tool. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm recording here. I just want to make sure I'm recording because I don't want to run into any problems. Yep, I'm recording. You can see my screen. Okay, sounds good. So here we go. So I'm going to move through. And what I'm going to do as I'm talking to you is I'm actually going to navigate in my LinkedIn profile between my LinkedIn profile and my PowerPoint presentation here so that you kind of got to get an idea and I can do some demonstrations for you. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about how to ask for what you want. We're going to talk about obstacles and rejection, LinkedIn statistics, LinkedIn subscriptions, the top 3 LinkedIn components. We're going to talk about a really cool tool for independent freelancers called ProFinder, a little bit about LinkedIn video, and then a call to action, and then how you can stay connected with me. So here we go. So let's talk a little bit about kind of, the question when somebody asks you what is it that you want? So what do you want? And especially, I find when it comes to women that when they're asked that question, they're so general or they're so afraid to specifically ask for what they want or get bold about asking for what they want because there's a lot of rejection, there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of excuses, and there's a lot of story that goes on inside our heads. Now, I'm not picking on women. Men have issues with this as well too, but I just find in my world of being an executive recruiter and having my own executive recruiting business and interviewing men and women of professional status from senior to executive management, I just find that men are a lot more clear, a lot more bold, and a lot more specific, and women tend to be a little just less, I'd say subservient, maybe not the word, I think ignorant, or maybe just not bold enough to be able to kind of really be clear about what it is that they want. So, just from observation myself, and using this and in my opinions that I give you around LinkedIn is really just opinion. But I will say that everything that I share with you here is what I use for myself on a daily basis. I practice it so that I know that there are results based on the information that I'm sharing. But let's talk a little bit about the word ask. And if you kind of look it up in the dictionary, it has a meaning and a definition. But in my world, in Michelle Peavy's world, ask stands for, and the A stands for activity. The S stands for speak it, say it, regardless of how you feel, just speak it and say it, but do it in a professional way. And then the K stands for keep it moving. And you've got to keep things moving regardless of what the status is when it comes to your business or profession. So when we talk about that and we ask about the question kind of what do you want, let me use a kind of a scenario. So think about, if you eat pizza. And when you decide that you're going to eat a pizza, and let's say you're at home, and you actually pretty much know who you're going to call, the name of the company, or the pizza joint that you're going to call, and you're going to already know what kind of pizza you want, and you're going to specifically call them, and you're going to tell them what kind of toppings you want on your pizza. So like in my case, I would call, let's say Pizza Hut. And I like Canadian bacon, I like mushrooms, I like tomato, fresh tomato, not cooked tomato, extra sauce and extra cheese on my pizza. And I tell them, I give them my address and I say, okay, here's my address. They deliver it. And I open up the box just to double check, and it's everything that I asked for. So when you come to the question of what do you want, ask the question, what do you want on your pizza? And I can guarantee you when I ask people that question, they pretty much can tell me specifically what they want. So let's translate the ask and that question around what do you want when it comes to your business. So you've got to get specific about words and identifying the words about what it is that you want when it comes to business, but a lot of people don't know how to do it, and I don't understand why. That's where I come in and why I'm your Get Off Your Ask expert. So when it comes to that, let me just share a little bit about with you from the question of what do you want, how do you find your answer? Now, of course, the end result for me when it comes to this particular presentation is using LinkedIn as your go-to resource and tool. But how do we get to that? So let me just give you an analogy here. So let's talk a little bit about, because when you ask, you've kind of got to pay attention to kind of how the answer comes to you. And sometimes the answer isn't going to come immediately to whatever that answer, that ask is. And sometimes it comes in the forms of these 5 areas, which I've outlined. So one is OPI, which stands for other people's ideas. So you may ask a question, and let's say I ask a friend of mine, who do you know that makes pizza but has a specific, I don't know, cheese that's directly imported from Italy? And that person I'm asking is from Italy, or her ancestors from Italy, and she might be able to give me the name of the cheese. But she may say, you know what, I don't know, but I have another friend. So, or she'll say, well, I have an idea. You could probably make this yourself. Like there's some kind of idea that or step that kind of takes me closer to my answer. Another one would be, which is OPM, which stands for other people's money. So sometimes we have to pay for things in order to ask for it to get what we want. Other people's network. The network could be like a group that you belong to, and you're putting your ask out to that group of people. And the network, actually, there's somebody in that network that can take you closer to the answer. Other people's knowledge. So sometimes we sign up for, I don't know, doing LinkedIn consulting session with me because I have knowledge around LinkedIn, but you don't know what you don't know. But in the end, you find out that you now know what you didn't know, and you can kind of implement and put some action into place. Or other people's time. So time could be a mentor, it could be a coach, it could be, hey, I want to have coffee with you and I want to spend some time with you, I want to throw some ideas at you. And so that's another way of getting closer to the answer. And so just pay really close attention to when you ask for something, how is the answer coming back, and is it a direct answer, or is it the step that gets you to your answer? So just something to think about. So let's talk a little bit about rejection. So what usually happens is when somebody, an individual, has a question to ask, probably the majority of the time, they've already had a conversation with themselves. They've come up with an assumption of probably what they think the answer is going to be. And sometimes they already come up with the excuse that they're not going to ask and verbalize it, and it's not going to come out of their mouth and speak it and say it. And they've already decided that the answer is no, or they've made up this whole story of what's going to happen. So under the what if this, what if that, and trust me, I've been in this scenario many, many times, and I have to get myself out of ego and out of excuses. And I've really got to talk myself through of moving forward and asking the question to avoid any form of rejection, and just really finding out what the other person is going to say, do. It really doesn't matter what they do. It's just the fact that I just asked. So around the area of rejection, you know, the biggest obstacle is that when, and it really actually stops people from asking for what they really want or getting what they really want. If you want to go to this website, it's called rejectiontherapy.com. And what rejectiontherapy.com does, it's an individual, and this is a true story. He's in Austin, Texas, and he's a TED Talk speaker. And he actually put together what is called the 100-Day Rejection Challenge. And for once a day, for 100 days, he decided that he was going to boldly ask for things. Some of them are really crazy things. And he was going to remove what the end result was going to be. So that means he was going to remove the outcome. He was not going to be worried about yes or around no, what somebody would say, what somebody would do. All he was going to do is just ask. And he realized after the 100 days that sometimes, majority of the time we make up a lot of things again that go on in our head. And a lot of times we're actually pretty surprised that the people that we thought would say no ended up saying yes. And then the ones that we thought would say yes ended up saying no. So it was just an interesting exercise to just make him a lot more brave, a lot more bold, and really going after some of the things that he really wanted. And he was just pleasantly surprised more than anything. A lot of the times, I think we make up so much that we just get so disappointed and we have so much fear around asking. So I just recommend you go to the Rejection Therapy website, watch the video, listen to his story. I mean, it's some really, really cool stuff that maybe can help you get past the rejection and get you a little bit more bolder around asking. So let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn stats. LinkedIn actually has 530 million global users, and 128 million are actually in the US alone. That's probably a quarter of that are in the US, so it's not bad. 44% of them users are females, 56% are males. That's interesting. And then in June of 2016, actually Microsoft purchased LinkedIn for $26.2 billion. And some people still don't even realize that Microsoft owns LinkedIn. And you'll probably start to see, and when you're on your desktop, that Microsoft is now starting to integrate a lot of the Microsoft Office platform in your LinkedIn profile. And there's some really cool things that are coming out around that, where you can upload actually a resume through Microsoft Word, in your LinkedIn profile, taking your LinkedIn profile page and moving it actually into a resume. There's a lot of great things around Office 365. So just some cool things that are coming up. 44% of LinkedIn users, this is interesting, earn more than $75,000 a year. So from a professional standpoint, it kind of shows you kind of what the average person is making. And if I recall correctly, if you go to Facebook users are probably, I think the average income is around $40,000. So just remember, LinkedIn and Facebook are two different things. Some of the features are the same. I know LinkedIn is coming, and putting in some certain tools that people are saying, oh my gosh, this is turning out to be Facebook. Still not the truth. LinkedIn is still a very, very good platform from a business and professional standpoint for you to use. So highly recommend that once you really know how to navigate and use it, it can be pretty dynamic for you. But here's a really interesting stat that just shocked me when I found out. The average monthly LinkedIn user uses LinkedIn only 17 minutes per month. So if you want leverage in your business, you want to increase your visibility, you want to increase connections so that you can get more business, I don't think that if you spent 17 minutes a month, you would probably get much. So I really encourage people, take that 17 minutes, even just take 15 minutes actually per day and use LinkedIn to kind of get yourself familiar with it. It's kind of like going to the gym and you have a personal trainer and I'm your personal trainer and I'm going to show you how to use all the machines and the equipment so that you can effectively walk in on your own and you know how to use it so that you can get more results. LinkedIn is exactly the same way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of get a freebie out of the way, and I want a complimentary, from a complimentary standpoint, I want to offer you a free LinkedIn cheat sheet or a resource guide that you can use. And my resource guide actually talks about the top 10 things that you need to know about your LinkedIn profile. And, you can actually do it by texting 444-999 and text the word cheat sheet. As you can see there in the slide. It's one word, and sometimes it auto corrects and it spaces out the word, but put it back together as one word, and you can upload actually my free LinkedIn cheat sheet. Use that as your resource or your review guide. Print it out, put it next to your computer, and use it as you see fit. So 444-999. Text the word cheat sheet to get a complimentary LinkedIn cheat sheet. Okay. So let's talk about actually one thing here, and I'll probably navigate back and forth into my LinkedIn profile for this one. But if you look at this, and let's talk a little bit about how do you increase visibility using LinkedIn. And I think probably the number one thing that people are noticing is that your photo. It's really, really important actually that you have a professional photo, and if you don't have one, get a headshot done. There's all kinds of great photographers out there. Upload it in your LinkedIn profile, because actually if you add a professional picture, you're 36 times more likely to receive a message from someone on LinkedIn. And I know as an executive recruiter in my executive recruiting business, I'm always checking out the photo to make sure it's professional, it's in line with what you say you do, or even if you're a business owner, is in alignment with your actually brand, is in alignment with your website, and does it really portray who you really are? And so, you want to increase visibility around that, but also not just a headshot, but you really kind of want to get your connections of your network up to probably 500 plus people. And when I work with individuals in their consulting time, I actually show them how to do that really, really quickly, where you can actually, LinkedIn actually goes into your address book and it can sync up your address book with LinkedIn connections, and you can ask them to join and connect with you. So that number can increase really quickly, but you really want to kind of get to 500 plus. And if you're under 500, work really hard at getting that, that number up. And also too, just a shout out to my friend here, Tara Bowman. This is her picture, and I think it's just such a fabulous headshot that, it's very professional. It's in line with her brand, and, I think it's great. But however, sometimes we take photos of ourselves, and then I see people put it out on Facebook or LinkedIn, and they say, okay, which photo do you like, A, B, or C? And, most of the time, your friends are going to say it's great, but they'll tell you maybe somewhat the truth, maybe somewhat not. They're going to kind of give you a little white lie and say it looks great. But if you really want to get an objective opinion, and I've done this myself as well, is you can go to a website called photofeeler.com. And actually, if you, it's free. If you actually grade or rate, I think it's 20 other people's photos that you don't know. And if you do that, I think they give you 10 credits, and then you can actually get your photo out and have objective individuals rate your photo. It's a really, really cool exercise just to kind of know how people perceive you when they look at your picture and your photo. So let's talk about, in my opinion, the number one investment tool. And it is actually getting a LinkedIn monthly subscription. And if you have a business, you are a business owner or an individual freelancer or an entrepreneur, and you want to leverage your professional network and your professional use of LinkedIn, you have got to pay for a monthly subscription. My recommendation is to check and check out and try the premium business if you don't have a LinkedIn monthly subscription yet. Now, here's the cool thing about the monthly subscription. If you have a free account, you actually can have a free 30-day trial using the membership and using all of the areas of LinkedIn in your membership. And after 30 days, actually the monthly subscription kicks in and they start charging you on a monthly basis. So you can pay annually, you can pay monthly, but I always recommend that you start right here at the premium business for $59.99 a month. I can guarantee you, if you use this tool, you will get a huge ROI in using LinkedIn. I use it 8 to 10 hours a day. I have made some very very, very big deals that have paid for this subscription over and over again. But here are some of the areas when you go in and you look at the differences as to what each monthly subscription, because there's a couple that you can use. It gives you the value of some of the things that you can do. I can guarantee you now that LinkedIn has changed it. If you have a free profile, if you actually, number one, if you're searching an unlimited kind of amount of people on LinkedIn, there's no unlimited browsing anymore. They get to a certain number and then they shut you off automatically. So you don't want that to happen if you're really in the trenches of really diving into your business. And here's some great things that with a monthly subscription, you get analytics, you can get a lot of research information, you got a lot of career insights, a lot of business insights, a lot of stuff that will help you determine, how you further use LinkedIn. So number one investment tool to me is, you've got to spend money to make money. And I highly, highly recommend that you do that on LinkedIn as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the top 3 components of your LinkedIn profile. And I cover only top 3 in this particular presentation because it's the top 3 things that, so let me go to actually let me go to my LinkedIn profile here. Okay. So when you are looking at someone's LinkedIn profile, usually what happens is you're looking at the top 1/2 of the page. And you want to catch somebody's attention through 3 things. And this is how I kind of, when I work with my clients, I help them get these basics out of the way. So number 1, again, I mentioned your profile picture. It's a professional photo. Sometimes I look in the back here and I look at your banner to see, is it aligned with your brand? Do you have your logos there if you're working for yourself? If not, pick a banner that you like. I also look underneath here, which is called your ask statement. We'll talk about that later. And then I also look here at the top 2 lines of your summary on your LinkedIn profile page. And most of the time, I always recommend that you outline your email, your phone number, and your website if you have a website. If you're actually just in a job seeker mode or you're using LinkedIn for other reasons and you don't have websites, then put your email and your phone number there so it's saying, hey, I'm open. Hey, people, you can call me, you can email me. And it's just a great way so people don't have to go search and find and look for your information. But this is the area of getting people's attention immediately, because me as a recruiter, when I get 300, 400 resumes a day, I don't have a lot of time. But what happens is when I get the resume, I immediately type in the name at the top and I go look for you. And I see, do you have it filled out? Is it completed? Are there keywords there? Can I reach out to you? And I will say, if you are in job seeker status, give your email and your phone number out so recruiters know how to find you right away. Also, this section here, if you click on see more or show more here in this section, make sure you outline website, make sure you outline your phone number, your email, all of your information on how I can contact you as well, because recruiters will look in this space as well looking for you. So those are the top 3 components actually that, we're actually going to cover. So I briefly kind of just outlined that. So let's go back to the professional headshot. And as I mentioned, there's 3 of my friends here, Amy Robinette, Zenobia Andrews, Lynn Perez, shout out to them. There are 3 great women in business, and they offer a lot of great professional services to their LinkedIn audiences. And so I'll just say, having a headshot, and these are great headshots, 36 times more likely to receive a message. And then 14% increase, you will be found actually on LinkedIn if you have that headshot. And again, just a reminder to go to the Photo Feeler website to kind of test out your photos, see what other people think of it in an objective opinion. So let's talk a little bit about the ask statement again. So the ask statement, when I asked at the beginning if you ate pizza, what type of toppings do you want on your pizza? And translating the ask into business. So here's an example of kind of what I did have on my website a couple of weeks ago. I was looking to connect with global account managers with petroleum economics, reservoir oil and gas software experience in Houston, Texas. Now, let me go back to the LinkedIn profiles. When you go, most people, when I'm perusing a LinkedIn profile page, most people fill on the top here with what their name is, or sorry, their status, project manager, MBA, it's usually that, or it's a title, CFO, CEO, accounting manager, whatever that is. But we live in that world of ego, but when you're using LinkedIn, I teach people how to change that in the form of a question, or somewhere where I'm creating and I'm asking for some action or something to happen. So in this case, this week I changed my ask statement, and you can change this through the pen here. You can click on this pen and edit it. It'll take you to the headline statement here. I changed it this week and I'm saying, looking to connect with energy commodities sales client service people in Houston, Texas. So here's the interesting thing. If you were to type in my name, not my name, sorry, these words here, copy and paste from your side and put it in the search box, more than likely my profile is going to pop up. You may not be a fit for this, but I get a lot of private messages from people depending on what this statement says right here. And I get people that say, hey, I see that you're looking to connect with energy commodity people. I'm not in sales and service, but you might want to connect with my friend John Smith here. And they feed me the information as a referral of someone that I can do business with. And I've reached out to John Smith. John Smith and I talk, and guess what? I've just closed a deal. So it's another way of really, really creatively marketing and asking for what you want in your business. And again, it could be one thing, one different thing. You know, I just say ask for one thing at one time, but keep this here for about a week and then change it again. So this ask statement, very, very, very crucial on how I teach people to ask in their LinkedIn profiles and creating those headline statements. So when you work with me, usually in a 2.5-hour session, we probably can create minimally 5 ask statements that you can use for 5 weeks in a row. So just really, really important that, you know, you really kind of grasp onto that, because there's a high impact on the LinkedIn search algorithms and returning keyword search results and getting specific about those keywords. Here's another actually client of mine that I worked with, and you notice underneath, he did his ask statement a little bit differently. He did put his title in there. He said Managing Director, Global Strategic Advisor, looking to network with private equity firms in the Houston area. I'm going to be really specific. Make sure that you outline the region or the area, geographic region or area that you want to in your ask. So in this case, he wants Houston. So if you're in Houston, ask for Houston. If you're in Calgary, ask for Calgary. If it's a region in the Southwest or Gulf Coast states, you can put that in there, but make sure that you're specific about that. And just another FYI on the ask statement, there's a limited amount of characters that you can use. So it's almost like Twitter, you can only use so much. So sometimes you have to short form some words so that you can get everything in there. Here's another actually client that I worked with, and she's a recruiter, and interesting enough, in her ask statement, she said looking to connect with property claims field adjusters in Tarrant County, Texas, but she put her email there so that people can reach her right away. And I thought that was pretty cool for her to kind of create an ask statement that way. So let's talk a little bit about the summary, and I'm going to actually go into my LinkedIn profile here. So if you notice, when you're actually looking at someone's LinkedIn profile, again, the top half of the page is where you're trying to catch people's attention. So in this specific space, I teach people the very top line of their summary. When you go into summary, you're going to actually put in your email, your phone number, and your websites. If you don't have a website, just an email and a phone number, because the first top 2 lines is what people are going to see. And so if they say, oh, I like her picture, I like her ask statement, I'm going to pick up the phone and call her. And that's happened many, many times. You never want to give the searcher, if you're open to your network, especially I say business owners, job seekers, sales maybe not, but sales, you want to get business. So you want to make yourself available so people don't have to go struggle and search and go, where do I find this information? It's kind of right there at the top and they know how to find you. So just another kind of tidbit tip that you might want to consider, but it's totally your choice. So the summary, let me go back, sorry, one more thing. The summary here, if I open this up, the summary actually allows you to have 2,000 characters in the summary itself. That is the largest area of your LinkedIn profile where you actually are outlining the ingredients, kind of summarizing who you are as a person in business. What is it that you do? Where is your expertise? You know, all that information needs to sit here so that people can kind of read further if they want. You've kind of caught their attention. They want to read more about some of the things that you offer and that you do. But make sure that this here, if you have a company website, is in alignment with the About Us page, and then a little bit about who you are. So who you are, the About Us, what you do, it's all kind of summarized in that area right there. That's why they call it a summary. All right, so we talked about summary. Let's talk a little bit about, again, so like I said in the summary, you know, use those keywords, get specific about them. It's a repeat for greater density when people find you on your LinkedIn profile in the specific areas that you're expert in or what you specialize in. I want to cover an individual's actually summary. His name is Brian Cho. He was a client of mine as well too. And he really did a great job. Here's just a kind of an idea of what his summary looked like. If you want to look him up on LinkedIn, you can. Here's his name again, Brian W. Cho. He put his email at the top, but what I like what he did here is he put suggested leadership job titles because he's looking for a job, and he put in titles here. So that when recruiters are maybe looking under titles for people on LinkedIn, he can pop up this way as well too. You can actually even take it further in your LinkedIn profile, and you can add word filters in there that are related to your skill sets, that are related to these job titles, where people can, or recruiters or individuals can find you, or hiring managers. So just another way to kind of write your LinkedIn profile. So here's what I'll say around writing LinkedIn profiles. A lot of you don't know how to do it. Or a lot of you can't find the right words, or you just don't want to do it, and you want to pay somebody to do it. So part of my LinkedIn consulting packages is I actually partner with a lot of business alliance partners, and one of the areas is in my packages where they will write your LinkedIn profile for you, and then you work with me one-on-one once you have all that information in there. Here's another friend of mine that also wrote her LinkedIn summary, Karen Miller. Actually, she's the individual that did my Ask About LinkedIn website. She did a great job. So if you want to check that out, this is the person behind the scene writing it and doing my website. Here's her profile. So she did it in a very different way. She wrote it more from a standpoint of, again, but I noticed she's got her name at the top, her phone number, her email, and her website. But then she asked and outlined in her summary through questions. And if you notice, it says, what are our current training projects? And she outlines 3 different areas that she specializes in. And then what she does is she basically outlines what Design to Train does. So another great way to write your profile in your summary. And you can go check her out again. Let me just show you her name, V. Karen Miller, if you want to take a look at her profile summary. And you know, you can always copy and paste and steal some of the information and move it into your summary. There's not a law against doing that. I call that rob and duplicate. You can do that as well. So let's talk about LinkedIn ProFinder. So this is something new that a lot of people don't know about, that are individual business owners or freelancers, and you're an expert in a specific industry or space, and it's really difficult for you to get business. So it's kind of similar to Upwork website or the freelancer websites, but ProFinder offers in LinkedIn the same kind of thing. And so what it does is it does 2 things. It does one, where you actually you as an individual can go look for a freelancer in a specific area that you need help with, and you can actually find them on LinkedIn and their LinkedIn profiles, and they outline their background as a perceived expert in that space. Or you can set yourself up as a ProFinder freelance expert, where people can find you, and you can generate leads and proposals from those people when they are looking for you. So I'm going to kind of just slow down a little bit there, because it's something that I think it's a secret sauce. It's a hidden secret in LinkedIn. I don't know why people don't know about this, but you want to make sure, if you do this and you set yourself up as a ProFinder expert that people can find you and use your services for, you have got to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is written in the context of you being that expert in that field. Your profile is completed. You have recommendations of people edifying and verifying that they've done work with you. And once you're set up as that, you're vetted into ProFinder, and people can actually find you and say, hey, I want to do business with you, and you can get leads that way. So let me just go into my profile here for a second. I'm going to show you where to find it. So if you go up here in the work area, my profile's moving a little bit slow here, but if you go into the work area and you go over to where it says ProFinder right here, you click on ProFinder, and when you get into ProFinder, it's going to kind of pop up in the space of you're looking for somebody to help you with a specific project. So it says right here, take your project from to do to done. And then it says, what services do you need? So let's say in this case, and underneath here, if you don't know, you can click underneath here, and it gives all the different areas of the different types of services that are offered. You can peruse them and go, oh, wow, look at this. I didn't know that there was business consulting. Oh my goodness, there's coaching here. There's executive coaching. You can ask for anything in these specific topics of LinkedIn. And then what it does is once you type that in, it'll ask you some specific questions around that space. And then once you hit send, it pops up actually individuals' names that are in that space that you can read, that will send a proposal. It'll say Michelle Peavy wants to talk to you about executive coaching, and then they can reach out to me. But if you want to set yourself up in ProFinder as a ProFinder expert, you click at the top here and you say, are you a pro? And you click on that, and it'll actually take you in and it'll outline for you all the things on the bottom here that you need to consider and do before you set yourself up as a pro, because once you say you want to do this and you hit send, LinkedIn is actually going to go to your profile and they're actually going to decide whether they vet you in and approve you as an expert in that field. So again, it's really, really crucial that your LinkedIn profile is completed in full, your summary, your recommendations, your outlining and experience that this is what you do, and it's congruent and in line with your brand. So if you don't know how to do and write your profile where you can optimize properly, then again, you can talk to me, and me and my team would be glad to help you in answering any questions or helping you with that. So let me go back to my profile here. I think that's open here. No, let me just go back to the presentation. So just a reminder here, search and receive freelance proposals. It's a lead generator. You actually have to have a monthly subscription in order to consistently use ProFinder. But if you have a free trial right now, or you're free, you can actually, the first 10 proposals are free, but after that, then you have to start paying and you have to buy a monthly membership on LinkedIn. So they kind of catch you there. But then again, here's all the categories I mentioned. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn Video. So LinkedIn Video actually can be accessed from your cell phone, your iPhone or your Android, and it also can be accessed from your LinkedIn page. So if you click on Home at the top, I'm on my desktop here, you're going to notice this little video right here. So what happens when you're using LinkedIn Video, it's not like Facebook Video where you kind of get a chance where it says 3, 2, 1, and then you're on. In this, you hit that video, you're immediately on. You have, I think, up to probably, 1 minute. I think that's what it is now. And then you have to stay logged in to your LinkedIn page. You have to stay right here and wait for it to upload into your LinkedIn data feed right here. And then it feeds in, and then everybody in your timeline and your connections can actually review that video. So it's just another cool thing that LinkedIn has come up with. And I just think it's a great thing to use. So take advantage of it, especially if you're blogging and you don't want to blog or you want to do a video, or you're live at an event and you want to put the video on. And like someone like me, I'm a LinkedIn expert. So sometimes I turn my video on and I get my audience to say hello. And it's actually in line with my brand because I'm a LinkedIn consultant. So real cool thing. So let's talk a little bit about, we're coming to the end here. So call to action, write an ask statement. And if you're having a hard time doing that, or you're writing something out, just send me a message on LinkedIn and say, here's my ask statement. Here's my first go around. What do you think? And, maybe if I can help you kind of tweak it a little bit further and, get some more specific words in there, I'd be happy to do that. But, or if you just want to kind of book a 30-minute free consultation with me, I'd be happy to assess your LinkedIn profile with you, and maybe we can focus on that question right there. Make sure you choose and get a professional headshot. Very, very important. And then complete all areas. Again, I keep repeating this. Complete all areas of your LinkedIn profile so that you show up higher in the search algorithms. And then to use LinkedIn 15 minutes a day so that you have practice. Navigate, go into certain areas of your LinkedIn profile. Find out what it is. Click on it. It's not going to blow up on you. Really, really get yourself familiar with using LinkedIn. Even if it's posting a question or commenting on somebody's page, do that, but do something for 15 minutes on LinkedIn. All right. So how do you connect with me? Well, of course, connect with me on LinkedIn. There's my friend Harriet. Her and I met on LinkedIn, and she's been really, really cool and very responsive to me. We've created a great LinkedIn relationship. And also too, so another way to connect with me, if you're watching this, I am actually offering $100 off to work directly with me on Jumpstart Your LinkedIn Profile package. It's 2.5 hours, and you can get that through texting 444-999. Text the word Jumpstart. And it's actually going to take you to my registration page. And there's going to be I think a promo code section there. You can actually type in the word Jumpstart to get the $100 off. So it would move your price down to $297. It'll alert me in email, and then I'll reach out to you and we'll kind of book our time together, have a 30-minute consultation first so I can learn a little bit about you and your LinkedIn profile. And the rest will be for 2 hours. We can schedule another time where we can put it all together as one. And we can work together on getting your LinkedIn jump started, getting it injected with some steroids, and getting the right things happening for you so that you can get what you want. So here's the thing too, if you just, you don't want to take advantage of any of that, enjoy the cheat sheet that I gave you. And if you want to ask me a question, just send me a question out on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to answer for you. I'm always on LinkedIn. I'm pretty responsive. Remind me that you met me this way, and I'd be happy to help you in any way I can. Pretty much that's it, folks. This is actually Herman, the one-eyed green monster, and he's actually Harriet's boyfriend. So anyways, I'm going to actually stop the screen share, and I am actually going to just say thank you for joining us today. It's been a great pleasure, and I hope that I've helped you jumpstart your LinkedIn profile. I've given